Hello everyone, welcome to the full beginner Sanctum guide. Before that, I just want to say a couple things. First off, thank you for the support on the previous video. It performed much better than I expected, and I really am grateful, so thank you for that. Second, this video will be long as I am going to attempt to explain even the most minute details of Sanctum. So I will leave timestamps down in the description. If there's anything that I'm explaining that you already know, feel free to skip through to whatever you need to know. And third of all, if you gain any value from this video, whether you enjoy it or whether it helps you with your sanctums, it'd be appreciated if you can leave any type of support, whether it's a like, comment, anything. Besides that, please enjoy the guide. First thing I'd like to go over is why you should consider running the Sanctum mechanic. As many of you know, in 3.26, Sanctum was nerfed, and through other people's testing, it's been concluded that it's around a 40 to 50% nerf on raw currency gained. This does not change the fact that on day 1, and most likely pushing into day 2, Sanctum is the best solo currency generation strategy. Obviously, there are boss carries if if you're a streamer or if you're in TFT, and you can have people funneling you. But solo Sanctum day 1 and 2 is the best strategy. Also, even though it has gotten nerfed, later in the video I will explain why Sanctum is actually in the best state it's ever been in for currency generation and divines per hour. Now that we've gone over why you should run the Sanctum mechanic, I believe it makes sense to choose your builds. There's 3 main criteria I use to decide whether a build is good for Sanctum. That is high damage output, auto targeting or large AoE, with high range and movement speed. These are all stats that make running Sanctum a lot easier and a lot more efficient. I've seen people play builds like Tornado Shot, Deadeye, and Shockwave Totem Hyro, but I'm going to recommend Penance Brand, Inquisitor. The reason being is I believe it is the best and smoothest progression along with an easy playstyle. You just right click and you walk. That's all there is to it. There's 3 main Penance Brand builds that are played in Sanctum at least. That is Energy Blade Inquisitor, which is the cheap league start. It's tanky enough where if you make a mistake, you can tank most guard abilities, if not all. So that's the one I would recommend when you're starting out. If you have a slightly higher budget, the next upgrade or build you should play would be Power Charge Stacker. Power Charge Stacker can also be relatively tanky. It has much higher damage, and it can scale much better into the end game than E-Blade can. The highest damage E-Blade build I've seen was roughly around 20 something million, while Charge Stacker you can easily push 100, 200 million with more investment. The last Penance Brand build on Inquisitor is the no-hit build. I'm not really going to go over it as this is more advanced. You can check out my first video I posted on it if you want more of a guide on that. Down in the description, I will leave a link to a spreadsheet by a creator by the name of Kua. He's also a creator that focuses on Sanctum content. He has made progression POBs for Energy Blade and Charge Stacker and answers all frequently asked questions like what specters you should run, what gear to run on your AG, all that type of stuff. So number 1, check him out, and number 2, refer to that spreadsheet if you have any questions about the build or just ask in the comments. Let's explain how to get to the Sanctum first of all. If we go to Act 10, to the Oriath docks, we should be able to find an NPC named Divinia. If I could load any slower, Divinia here has an option, visit the Forbidden Sanctum. Now, if for some reason she's not here, the only reason I could think of is you would have to go to the ossuary and you would go close to the end where you should see a little side room. it has a door icon like to the cathedral rooftop. Go through, and there drops a quest Sanctum Tome. You click on that, come back, and you should be allowed the option to go to the Sanctum now. Once you make it to the Sanctum, the first thing you will have to do is talk to Divinia and take a relic from her. I feel like now would be a good time to explain what relics are. Relics are items that are Sanctum exclusive that drop from all Sanctum mobs if they are magic relics, and only from Lycia if they are unique relics. Magic relics you can use as many times as you want, and they are what you place in your Relic Altar to make your strategies. For example, some commonly used strategies are additional room reveal strategies, increased quantity of relics found, there's additional merchant options. So these are kind of the relics that shape your strategy. Then you have unique relics. These are one-time use relics that only drop from Lycia. Now, some examples of these relics I have here are the Blood of Innocence, which drops a Balance of Terror. You have the Hour of Divinity, which duplicates 2 rewards, so on, so on. And then you have your Chase unique here, the Original Scripture. These, like I mentioned, have a one-time use and assist your strategy. Some Sanctum strategies don't even run a unique relic, some do. Now, as you saw my Relic Altar, if this is your very first time doing Sanctum, you will have spaces that are locked that you have to personally unlock. Now, how do we unlock these spots in our Relic Altar? You have to kill mini bosses on each floor only one time. Every floor has a boss at the end of it that you have to kill to get to the next floor. There's 4 floors in Sanctum. There's also mini bosses that have a chance of spawning in a room, and the room has a specific name. So it's not like you go into a random room and there's going to be a mini boss. You will know if you have a mini boss when you see the room name. In a little bit, I'll show all the room names and everything, but just remember, these slots are unlockable. These 2 corner slots, though, are not. So these are all the spots you're ever going to get for your relics. Now that we understand what relics are, how to use our Relic Altar, how to get to Sanctum, so you've done all that, and you're about to run your first Sanctum. You got your random magic relic that Divinia gave you, put it in whatever slot, you press confirm, and you go in. This is what you will see. You need to interact with the Sanctum map, and you will see a layout. Now, if you remember, I mentioned every floor has a boss. Here's the boss for the first floor. There's 4 floors, like I mentioned before. You have to fight 4 bosses to complete the Sanctum. When you originally start out, you won't have any good relics, most likely, so all you'll see is the first room, which you can select, and 1 set of rooms after that. Now, as you can see, one of the rooms here is different than the others. It has a purple layout. In Sanctum, there are things called boons and afflictions. Boons are buffs you can get that help your run. There's many different boons. I'm not going to go over each one of them individually. Maybe in editing I'll put on a list, but understand that these are meant to help your run. You can get them from Radiant Fountains, the Rainbow Fountains. You can get it from the 150 coin fountain. I forgot the name of it. You can get it from Handshakes. And I'm pretty sure that's about it. And there's also afflictions. Afflictions are negative effects. For example, here, monsters have 50% more maximum life. That's not very nice, especially if you don't have a lot of damage to just one-shot everything. These afflictions are sprinkled out throughout the map, so you always want to be looking ahead to make sure you don't accidentally path into an affliction that will completely ruin your run. There's also a bunch of afflictions. I'm also not going to go through all of them individually, but just remember, boons and afflictions. Afflictions you can get on the map from Handshakes, and from, there's a Tainted Fountain or something like that. It's a purple fountain. Next is resolve and inspiration. Now there's a difference between the two. Resolve is what you get by default. By default, you have 300 resolve, and you can increase this number through relics and through boons. And this number can also decrease. Resolve is not as good as inspiration, and I'll explain why. There are rooms that have a handshake icon, which oftentimes say you lose a percentage of your resolve for a reward. And a lot of the times, the things they reward you are very nice boons that you would love to have. This affects resolve, but it does not affect inspiration. Think of resolve as life and inspiration as energy shield, basically. These handshakes, which have loot behind them, say you lose your life, but you don't lose your energy shield. So as long as you have inspiration, you can take all these handshakes and stack up boons. So personally, I like getting more inspiration from my relics if possible. Now down here, there's 3 little icons. These are resolve mitigation, chance to avoid resolve loss, and resolve Aegis. These are basically little benefits you gain from your character stats. For example, if you have high armor, you would have high resolve mitigation. If you have high evasion chance, you would have high chance to avoid. You get the idea. Sanctum builds do not normally stack these, as the goal of Sanctum builds, like I mentioned previously, is just high damage output, movement speed, full screen AoE. You don't really want to play defensively because you don't want to get hit in the first place. So you don't, very often don't ignore these and would just even take an affliction that says you can't use them. Down here, you can see what your relic effects are. Now, it does say none, even though I have a 13 maximum resolve. These relic effects are things that persist throughout the run, not just max resolve or inspiration, so that's why it's not showing. And the other thing right here is where you leave your sanctum. You can leave at any time. Your progression is saved. You can even log out of a room in case you freeze or something, or you disconnect, and you can come back, and unless you actually died in the time it took you to log out, you will still keep your sanctum. In the top right, you can see your coins. And let's just give an example. This is how you go to a room. You left click on the room you want to go to. A door will open. You go through the door and you see the room. That's the basics of the sanctum. One last thing I'd like to go over before I start showing how to complete the rooms and their layouts is that the names of the rooms that you see on the minimap are important. The names will always tell you what the objective of the room will be. I will put up a little cheat sheet that I pulled from Maxroll. Maxroll is a great tool for guides for plenty of games. You guys should check it out. I'm sure you've heard of it before. But for example, here, Chambers of Inscription. This name lets me know that this will be a kill all guards and rares room. Now the layout can differ. There's like 2 layouts for certain rooms only have 1, but the layout can differ. But the objective is always the same. So, for example, if you really don't like doing arena trap rooms where you're locked in and you have to avoid the traps, on the first floor it's Templar Annals. So you can think ahead and path around it. Here, Holy Trials is a find the exit trap room, and you get the idea. Basically, these names tell you what the objective of the room is, and the names change floor by floor, but with this little cheat sheet I'll show, you would be able to understand what they are and avoid the rooms you don't like. And just really quickly, this is what I was talking about when you see a handshake room. It's an actual handshake. There is loot behind this handshake if you take one of the options, much like you see here where there's 3 loot options. If you take one of the 3 handshake options, you will be allowed to claim a reward behind that. Here, there is a benevolent fountain, which can give you a minor or a major boon. Here, there's an afflicted fountain, which gives you an affliction. That's the last thing I wanted to go over before I show all the room layouts and how to complete the rooms. Alright, so right now I'm going to do an example run. Unfortunately, I probably won't be able to get every room layout, but I'll most likely be able to get every room objective, just so I can give the general idea, give some tips while I'm running them, and yeah, hopefully provide enough information. I'm running an energy blade setup on a 5 link because I have a 21 penance brand, so I decided to even it out. No mage blood, of course. I set this up for no more than 5 divines. I'll leave all the relevant information in the description, and I'll just start the run. The relic setup I'm using for this run is going to be room reveals, just for the fact that I want to be able to show as many different rooms as possible. Normally I'd be running merchant relics, but so for chambers, it's pretty simple. There's 2 guards where you saw me originally kill him, and yeah, like I said, the brand playstyle is just right click and move. Here we have, this is an arena trap room. This is the hardest room on first floor, Templar annuls. So I'd be careful of that if you don't think you can do it. I'll path to it just so I can explain how to do it. For the skull, it's much easier than the lasers. I like to stand close to the skull as it allows me to have to move much less. And just kill the guards. One tip is to keep moving, not like what I was doing where I was just standing still. In Sanctum, if you move as much as possible and avoid backtracking, it is much more likely that you will not get hit, as opposed to completely standing still and guard abilities hitting you. Here we get another skull room. Simple, like I said. Just walk around. Shouldn't be too hard. Oh, apparently I got hit. Unfortunate. If you are getting hit and you notice that you're losing to resolve loss, not lack of damage or, you know, anything else, or not actually just getting one shot by the abilities, I recommend getting inspiration on fountain use relics, resolve on fountain use relics, resolve on boss kill relics, maximum resolve relics. There's a lot of relics that can make the Sanctum run easier. Here's the mini boss for the first floor. He spawns 6 mobs that you just have to kill. You don't actually have to hit him himself. And then normally he does an attack at the end of it. Kind of just circle around that attack. Try not to get hit because it's chaos damage. And you move on. Let's see what we have next. Next we have, let's do a Holy Trials. I don't think I've done that yet. So I'll show you guys how to do that room. Holy Trials is like the lightning traps. I don't know if it's actually lightning damage, but it's these floor traps. Kind of just run past them. Avoid guard abilities. And move on. Let's see. Next we have... we'll do an abandoned library. I don't know if I forgot to mention, but this is an eye level 83 tome on a 5 link E-blade. So this is the highest tome you can possibly do. In abandoned libraries, there's always a guard at that intersection. And this is a 4 corners room, so you just check all the corners to see whether the exit is there or not. So it wasn't up top, it was not on the right, it's got to be at the bottom. There it is. And we keep moving. The most important thing, if you want to make a lot of currency while running Sanctum, is just being efficient. So, as you can see, I'm trying to move as fast as possible. This is a kill all guards and rares room. So, there we go. Move on. It's nice to stack up coins. You can use these coins to purchase boons from the merchant, or just select rewards. Here, Varikath is very simple, very easy boss if you have any decent Sanctum build. All you do is place your brands, pop your conditionals, which for me is Taste of Hate, my Galvanic Field, and Assassin's Mark, and then just run in circles. So I'll show you here. Flask, Galvanic Field. He does an attack, now he's going to do a fire breathing attack. Okay, well he didn't do it. But the fire breathing attack, he just sprays fire in front of him. It's very slow. Just walk in circles. you should be fine. At the end of every floor, if you have any rewards that can be claimed at the end of the floor, you'll see a small chest here. And if you don't, you'll see nothing. But you'll get 2 reward options. We didn't get anything good. Something they added this league is you can turn your coins into gold. And it's not a bad amount of gold, actually. Like, for example, it'll turn around 400 coins, and I got 3,000 gold. The amount of gold you get varies a lot. So for those 400 coins, you could sometimes, I think, get like 1,000 gold, or you can sometimes get 10,000. It really just depends on what it decides to roll. On second floor, the arena room is battleground. So I'm just going to avoid that one because it's 50% more monster life, and I don't really do a lot of damage. So let's go to this one. So here, there's a very often a rare that spawns down there, and if you don't kill it, you won't be able to pass the room since this is a kill all guards and rares room. We're just walking, killing everything, moving on. Here's a fountain. As it says, it recovers 25% of your resolve. That is your life pool, basically. If that goes to 0, you lose the run. You can gain inspiration, which, like I mentioned, is like the ES to it. It's like a buffer. So any damage will be taken by inspiration first, and that can be 0, and you don't lose the run. For the laser rooms, at least for floor 2, kind of just stay to the edge, walk in circles. Not very complicated, at least with my build. There we go. And we claim our coins. Move on to the next one. This will be a kill all again. Yep. Because, like I said, the names of the rooms tell you the objective. So and roughly around where you see me killing or finding all these guards is where they will spawn majority of the time. Guards spawn in relatively the same place every single time. So after the first 5 sanctums you run, at that point you'll know where the guards spawn. You'll know where you have to place your brands, where you have to watch out. Unfortunately, I wasn't given a great variety of options for rooms to showcase, so we'll just have to do what we get. Here's another skull room. On second floor, in my opinion, the hardest, well, in general, for me, the hardest trap room is meteors. I just, for some reason, am not very good with them. I rather do lasers. But other people say that laser room is harder for them. I guess we'll take the enkindling orbs. Okay, another trap room. Misclick. Let's see. Lasers again. Remember what I said. Just stick on the corners. Right there, you saw me flame dash because I saw the animation of the guard casting his ability. That is because I have Call of the Brotherhood on this build, so I chill them, and the action speed reduction allows me to react to abilities much easier than if they had normal speed, as you can see right there. This is the handshake. You get 3 options. If you take one of these options, you are able to claim loot. Now, personally, I don't need to take handshakes on the first 2 floors, as they cannot have divines behind them. You can only start getting divines on the 3rd floor and beyond. So, it's not really worth it in my opinion. Well, there really is not much to show off. Okay, so I just path to these 2 benevolent fountains, as they can give you a minor boon and a major boon, so maybe we get something good. These are 4 corner rooms, so again, just check the 4 corners. In that room, the scariest thing is the Blade Dancer, which is the one that swipes his sword and TPs behind you. Yeah, just be careful. Okay, we got lucky, and the exit was in the same place twice. There's not really a way to... I don't have enough coins, unfortunately. There's not really a way to tell which corner it's going to be, so just whichever one you like pathing to first is the one you go to. Here, the way I do these bosses is I place my brands in the middle. I pop my conditionals again. I assassin mark, galvanic field, one of them, and that one should die. The other one will cast an ability. Just keep your eyes on it. All of them have like large AoE abilities, so either try and be far enough away or dash behind them.
Bow to my sycophants.
So I'm attacking the left one.
These are flesh
Now this one's
vessels,
casting an
just
ability.
like you.
As you saw, he casted that ability, that ground slam, but I was all the way in this corner, so obviously didn't reach me. And with the amount of chill I have on them, it was pretty simple. With the way Penance Brand works is its damage ramps. So even though at first it looked like I was doing no damage, as you saw, it only took one Penance Brand placement for me to kill them. And that is with faster casting, not Swift Brand. So just remember that. Right here you see the Deceptive Mirror Affliction. This is probably one of the worst afflictions you can get, as not being able to guarantee the room you go to can either lead you into a bad, it can lead you to an arena room where you have low resolve, it can force you to take bad afflictions, or you can just simply miss divines. On 3rd and 4th floor, you should always check all the rooms you have in case there's any divines. There's not, so I'll be pathing towards the handshakes. Why? Because remember, they offer loot behind them, and it's a possibility that there's divines. So we move. This is a find the exit room. Again, it's 4 corners, so, or I guess it's technically 3 corners. Each of them has a guard in front of them. It's not here. There's going to be a guard in this little crossing area. It's not here, so we go to the last corner. There's going to be a guard in front of it. Okay, perfect. Notice how I'm constantly moving. I never stop moving, as that is the time you are most likely to get hit. Let me see what rooms I've run. Okay, I'll do a trap room. I'll try and do 2 trap rooms. Wow, they're not really giving me much variety here, unfortunately. Okay, we'll go here, here. Is this? Alright, we'll see what we can do. See what we get. Let's see what the first... Okay, so this is Meteor Room. 3rd floor Meteor Room, in my opinion, is the hardest, as first off, you have to pay attention to the guard abilities, but you also have to make sure you don't get hit by the meteors. What I recommend is, if you are running a build with Righteous Fire, probably don't turn it on, as it will obstruct your vision. And look more on the floor than you do at your character. At least that's what I do. Because I'm playing brands, I don't have to aim my ability. So I just look at the floor and make sure I'm not stepping on anything that is glowing yellow. Okay. Here, again, there's nothing really good, but I guess I can lose the minor affliction. Let's see, divines. No. If you were wondering how I selected that without having to click confirm, you can just control left click to select it. Let's go to Crucible. Can we get an unholy layer? That's unfortunate. Okay, we'll go Crucible and we'll go down there. Okay, so we should be able to get a variety. Halls of Worship, again, find the exit, check the corners, but remember there's always a guard in front of them. Not here. Let's see. Not here either. And there. Notice how I was trying to place my brands around the wall. It's better if you can pre-place your brands, so by the time you turn the corner, they are already chilled to a certain degree, or maybe even dead. It's just a safer way to kill the guards while aggroing them. Okay, let's go Crucible. Crucible, there's a major shortcut that you should always take. It's right here. When you get to the first set of traps, you just dash over this ledge. There will be a guard and a lot of times a rare over here. Yep, there it is. These pulsating lightning traps are pretty simple. They always make the same noise, so just look at them, listen to the sound cues, and move when it's safe. Here we get another Benevolent Fountain. Nothing really useful. Okay, let's see. Monsters deal 50% more damage is an affliction where it normally doesn't matter, as you really shouldn't be taking damage. But when you're starting out, I recommend not taking it, because the things you do take damage from are also the things that do the most damage, unfortunately. For example, Ice Arrow Barrage or Blade Dancer, those are a little easier to get hit by and also do a lot of damage. So let's path to Infernum. Remember, Infernum's going to be the arena trap room. Somehow we got meteors again. Okay. So I'm just looking at the floor. I see I was on a meteor, so I dash away. You notice how everything's just bright yellow on my screen, flashing everywhere. So it is hard to see, even for me, even after I've ran so many Sanctums. But okay, there we go. Didn't get hit, thankfully. And remember, this is the highest tier Sanctum you can run on a 5-link, and I have no damage boons. So it is not like I have some crazy damage build or anything secret. This is a pretty normal build with like day 1 damage, and I can still run the highest tier. So 4 corners again. Remember, guards are going to be in front of it. Okay. For some reason, the guards have been quite off-center today. I don't know why. Normally, they're pretty in line with the exit. But still not a problem. Let's do the Unholy Lair. Here, it's defeat all guards and rare monsters. This one is a little bit easier to get hit by. So, just be careful. And try and place your brands as far away as you can so they attach as early as possible. As you can see, I'm going to walk up this ledge. There's going to be 3 guards here. Then there's going to be 2 on this part behind the exit. And then sometimes there's a rare in that corner. And there's going to be 2 at the exit right here. Oh, unfortunately I missed one. I think I know which one I missed, yeah. There you saw me flame dash when I saw the Ice Archer cast an ability. That's always a good idea. If you notice an ability be cast, just try and change your position. Obviously not into the ability if possible, just so you have the highest chance of avoiding any resolve damage or actual damage. Okay, 3rd floor boss. This looks like the scariest boss to most people, as it shoots lasers, it does swiping patterns, but it really is not that hard. If you have enough damage, you can just place your brands and sit at the exit and or at the entrance, and you will take no damage at all. I'm pretty sure I don't have enough damage to do that, so I'm going to show you how to do it with less damage.
You have
Again,
the wrath
place
of
your
a
brands,
powerful entity.
pop your conditionals,
Perish.
and circle it. Okay, you see me? Now I go to the exit.
Do not seek dominion over death.
And then when it
or
dies,
you
it
will
does
be
a swiping
enslaved.
motion. That swiping motion is, you do take resolve damage from that, so just be careful. As you can see, I do so little damage. Like, normally it dies when you stand here. I actually had to dash away in between the lasers to save myself from taking any resolve damage. Those lasers do damage to you when they pierce and when they pulse, so just be careful. But if you're looking where they're at, they don't randomly move, so they're not too hard to avoid. I have no coins to turn in for gold. And I have a gem level up. Look, my gems are not even level 20 and I'm running it. Let's see. Okay, some random relic. Floor 4, the hardest room is Desecrated Crypts, because you can get a laser room, which is by far the hardest room in all of Sanctum. So be careful about that if you're not confident or you're on low resolve. Undercroft is the find the exit room. It's really simple. You just run through, you find the exit. Let's see what else I have. Lost Catacombs is the kill all guards room. It's also really easy, at least if you have decent damage. And, ooh, there we go. There's a Divine. Perfect. So, I'm going to path towards this Divine because I want my money. And also, it seems like I'll be able to show you guys every room. Entombment is the get to the exit, but there's fireballs in the way. So, I'll show that too. So, let's start. Undercroft, remember, I said it's the exit room. There's going to be a guard right as you come out. Just dodge the ability. There's going to be a guard in the middle. Careful. These ice traps, you kind of just want to either not walk into them as best you can, or just run past them, or flame dash out of them, however you want to avoid them. But just make sure you don't stand in them, as they could. I mean, they don't do that much damage, but still, why take resolve damage? Again, oh, almost got hit. At the end of all the exits, or near all the exits, there is going to be a guard, so just remember that. Looks like we have to do another Undercroft. So I can show you one more time. There's going to be a guard right away. Kill the guard, or just run past it if it teleports on you. There's going to be a guard in the middle. Again, I guess just run past it. There's going to be a guard on one of the potential exits. It's not here. I somehow took resolve damage. Not really sure how, but whatever. Okay, so the exit was up top this time. Let's move on. Okay, Desecrated Crypts. This, like I said, is the hardest room. If you get lasers, if you get Skull, it's a lot easier. Okay, so this big open area is Meteors. Meteors on 4th floor is actually a lot easier than it is on 3rd floor, as you have way more space. So, should make it much easier to dodge abilities. Just keep moving. Make sure you're looking at the ground where you're stepping. Try not to step on any meteor effects. And, yeah. One thing to know is if you don't have a lot of brand attachment range, or let's say you're in this bottom corner, if there's a guard here, even if your brands are attached to it, it might not do damage, because there's a limit to how far the mob can be from you to take damage in Sanctum, because they wanted to stop people from just SRSing off screen. So if it's charging its ability and you're standing in this corner and you're like, oh, I have my brand on it, it might not be taking damage, and you might just get an ability straight to your face, which is just not great for the run, to be honest. Continuing, we have, let's see, will I get another Lost Catacombs? If I will. Okay, so I'll path towards this handshake just to show off hopefully another trap room. And we got unlucky. Wow, this game's really not helping me try and make an educational video. As you can see, my Penance Brand Pulses are really limiting my field of vision, but we move. Okay. Didn't get hit again, thankfully. Oh, wow. There's really nothing good here. I'm taking that, not because I want it, but I just want to see the rewards. Would you look at that? A Divine. I didn't choose this run out of a selection of runs. This was the first one I ran, and I just happened to get 2 Divines. Will you always get 2 Divines? No. Can you possibly get more? Yes. Can you possibly get less? Yes. So, yeah. Entombment. Okay, so it's not the Fireball one, it's the Lightning Pulsing one, which is the much easier one. These Lightning Pulse traps are a joke. You just wait till it's safe and then walk. Here, there's a shortcut. You go up, right, and down. I'll probably have a section for shortcuts or important shortcuts, just so you guys know them, because they are actually very important for all these find the exit trap rooms. But yeah, here I'll lose 50% max resolve. It doesn't really matter. I don't plan to get hit. Let's see what boons I got. Nothing good. Okay, Lost Catacombs. This is, remember, kill all guards and rares room. There's going to be 2 here. Kill these. There's going to be 3 in the next section. So, see how I walk to the left to avoid the abilities, and often there's a rare and 2 guards here. There wasn't a rare, but most of the times there will be a rare and 2 guards at the end. And there's my Divine Orb. Let's see. Oh, maybe I can show you another entombment. Unfortunately, I have traps impact 50% or 200% increase resolve. If I take this, I will have 50 resolve, and then I'll have to completely re-record the run, which wouldn't be nice. But sure, let's go. Let's see if I'm good. Okay, this was the one I was mentioning. This is the Fireball. You kind of just want to run as fast as possible. past the initial fireballs. And here, you can either have a totem, or you can try and time the fireballs by dashing through, dash through, dash through. Yeah. That takes a little bit more practice. I don't really recommend doing that. I would either have a weapon swap for totems, or just not have 0 resolve. Here, you pop the ice trap, and you run through. Can I dash in time? And I can. Here's another shortcut. Like I said, all these have shortcuts. There's going to be a guard at the exit. Just run past it. Okay. So, Warren 50 resolve. I wouldn't recommend getting this low resolve if it's your first time running. But, yeah. Lycia is pretty simple. You stand down at this wall, pop all your conditionals, dash to the right immediately. Oh, wow, I do no damage. Hopefully kill her in one phase before she does her lightning. If you hear her say, "You shall see Bedat's gaze," you can try hiding behind the wall, but she can shoot through the wall. If you know you have enough damage and she like popped Bedat's gaze too early, you can log out and redo it. It just comes with experience. These laser traps really don't mean anything. You just walk past them. This fireball trap, you could just walk through like that. I don't have traps or slow or anything, right? No, I don't. So this is normal speed traps. So you should see how easy these are to dodge. Just dash through and walk. Yeah, nothing to really explain there. Here, we're going to place our brands on her. I like to stand behind her because I get to see her turn around. And when she turns around is the only time she can cast an ability. So I don't ever get caught off guard. So I'll show you an example. Place my brands.
Every time you return here.
And then see how she had to turn around first. That just kind of gives me a little indication. There you heard that you cannot escape Bedat's gaze. You would want to either circle her or just dash through her like I did and keep dashing back and forth if she's stuck in the corner. And now we get to the Herald of Scourge, or just Lycia, what majority of people call it. I will not be showing all the phases. I'll link a video down in the description by Phase Plays, who made an amazing Sanctum guide that I really recommend checking out. It shows all boss attacks, all boss phases, and everything. So if you want a bit of a more in-depth explanation, I would check that out. I just plan to show you what a normal run can look like for you. So here we place our brands, pop our conditionals, and then dash to the right. She did not cast the beam ability. Be Gone is like a little dash. Let's see if she casts her beam yet. She doesn't. Okay. And as you can see, she died. I have no damage boons. I'm running a 5-link on 5 div of gear. And I completed an eye level 83 Sanctum. So that should show you, if you're on a charge stacker, it'll be even easier. And yeah, Sanctum's not a hard mechanic, and everybody can run it with just a little bit of practice. And look at this amazing loot. It's not actually that amazing, but you know. Let's talk money making strategies. There are 3 money making relic setups in Sanctum. One is the merchant strategy. This is, in my opinion, the worst one. I'm not going to get in depth into it. You just stack merchant options and reduce merchant costs, and you're hoping for the stars to align so you can get the spectacular cute dog 8 mirrors in 1 Sanctum clip. I'm not even going to go over that. It's expensive to set up, not worth it. Just don't do it. Next is the room reveal relics. This is where you stack as many room reveal relics as possible, up to 18. Your goal here is to target raw currency. As you can see it right away, you can immediately pass towards the divines on floor 3 and 4, and this is probably the best strategy on League Start, just so you can accumulate as much raw currency as possible. But at current rates, since they have nerfed Sanctum, raw currency drops by about 40%, it's assumed, from other people's data, including Kua's spreadsheets, and he's ran like 60, and running them every less than 11 minutes, he was making 13 divines an hour. So if you can run Sanctums faster than 11 minutes, you can maybe make 15, but that's not that great. The best strategy this league is by far quantity relics. Why is this so good? Blood of Innocences are currently trading at 9 divines per, which is insane. I ran 100 quantity relic runs. I tracked them, and in them I dropped 35 Blood of Innocences. That's roughly 1 in every 3 runs. Meaning, if you get nothing, you pick up no raw currency, and you are just only killing Lycia, you will be getting 3 divines per run. Assuming we're taking that same number of roughly 5 runs per hour, that's already 15 divines per hour just from Blood of Innocences. So I think you can see why this strategy is above all the other ones. Sometimes some runs you even get 2 if you get lucky. So run this strategy. If we do normalize rates of original scriptures, which are assumed to drop in every 1 in 100 to every 150 runs while you're running quantity relics, that will add another 5 divs per run of normalized rates. That's not, you're not going to see that until you drop the scripture, but that you have to take that into an account, and the raw currency you get. So with this strategy, not including a scripture, you can easily expect 20 to 25 divines an hour if you're running 5 tomes an hour, which is very achievable, and this is why this is the strategy I recommend for this league. Lastly, I want to give a couple tips. For tip number 1 is just keep moving. Like I said through my walkthrough, if you watched it, just keep moving to avoid getting hit by guard abilities, as most of them cast where you were previously, and it is a very easy and simple way to avoid losing resolve. Also, try not to backtrack. 2 is if you're dying to resolve, buy any of the relics that I'm going to have up on screen, which can help a lot to regain your resolve throughout the run to give you a little bit more sustain. Tip number 3 is don't get discouraged if you fail your first couple runs. It happens to everybody. I recently had a friend who just got into Sanctum, and he had like a 50% completion rate, and then after running like 8 tomes, he completed all the rest of them. So it's pretty normal while you're learning layouts, while you're learning guard abilities, boss abilities. Just don't get discouraged. And tip number 5, maybe the most important one, look in the description. In the description, I will have Kua's spreadsheet. I'll have the link to his channel. I'll have the link to FaZe Play's amazing Sanctum guide. It is such high quality Z tier guide. I don't know how he made it, but it's amazing. And also ask questions in the comments if you need to. I'll most likely be answering all the comments, so if you have any confusion, just go there. We are finally done. Just the last couple parting words. I'm looking in my editing software right now and realizing this video is almost 50 minutes, so I won't take too much more time. I just want to say thank you if you've watched through to this point into the video. If the video does help, like I said in the beginning, any support is welcome. And then also any criticism. If you believe my mic is picking up too many background noises, or I yap way too much, or anything, just please leave it in the comments. I will try and improve in my future upcoming videos that I might or may not upload. I'm not really sure. Besides that, I hope you all have a great time running Sanctum. You all succeed, and you have a great day.